In the last few days, you may have heard of an unconventional effort to get out the vote. Tech mega billionaire Elon Musk's super PAC, America PAC, has organized a giveaway. I'm sure you've seen this, promising $1 million daily prizes to people in 7 swing states, chosen at random for signing a petition in support of First and Second Amendment rights. Here's the thing, though, that to sign the petition and enter the contest, contestants must be registered to vote, and federal law prohibits paying people to register to vote.
A source familiar with the matter tells us the Justice Department has sent a letter to the Tesla founder warning that the giveaway in battleground states may violate federal law. The letter came from a section of the department that handles election-related prosecutions.
NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian joins us for more on this. Ken, good morning. So I'm curious about this. It may break the law. Tell us about the questions of legality surrounding this lottery-style giveaway Musk is organizing, and what else is in this letter.
Good morning, Savannah and Joe. Well, we haven't seen the letter, but it is kind of a common thing for the Justice Department to do to warn folks when they're coming up to the line on campaign finance law. But the thing about this is we've talked to a lot of legal experts, and there is not agreement about whether this particular arrangement is illegal. Most people think it's in a gray area. Some people think it does violate the statute. Others do not. It doesn't directly pay people to register to vote, obviously. But as you said, it makes entering this contest, this drawing for $1 million, contingent on being a registered voter in these swing states. The other wrinkle here, though, is that the deadline to register for the presidential race has now lapsed in many of those states. So the idea that you're inducing people to register with a monetary reward is not even valid anymore. So it's probably likely that no further action is going to ensue from this. But it is interesting that the Justice Department decided to weigh in and send that letter.
I mean, so yeah, Ken, I mean, Musk has already announced 4 winners. So you say there's probably no more action in addition to the letter. Could there be any more action the Justice Department takes against him if this keeps going?
There certainly could, in theory, although, you know, remember, we're in the quiet period here. The Justice Department is not supposed to be taking action that could tend to affect the election. So if in the unlikely chance that they were contemplating criminal charges here, they would likely come after the election. There would be further investigation after the election. But Musk's PAC also changed the rules for this contest to sort of suggest that this person, whoever gets the $1 million, would actually be a spokesperson for the PAC. That may have been an attempt to respond to this letter, guys.
So Musk has really thrown his support behind former President Trump in recent weeks, both campaigning with him as well as alone for him. At the same time, he's promoting election misinformation, disinformation on his social media platform X. With the Justice Department taking a look at this giveaway, maybe let's say nothing more happens there. Could what he's doing on X get him in any trouble if he's kind of under the microscope in any way?
You know, what's interesting about that, Savannah, is that the Justice Department in the prior administration or in prior years really leaned heavily on X when it was under different ownership to purge the platform of misinformation and disinformation. And then they got sued, and there was a big legal case that went all the way up to the Supreme Court. They eventually won. The Supreme Court said the government could do that, but it's made the government a lot more careful about trying to lean on these social media platforms about misinformation. And Musk has made it clear he doesn't care what the government says. He has a free speech right to put whatever he wants on that platform as long as it's not illegal. So no, the answer is no. I don't think the Justice Department is in a position to take any further action. I think every American, though, should be cognizant of the fact that here you have the world's richest man pouring millions and hundreds of millions of dollars into the presidential race and also owning this major social media platform where he is promoting, in many cases, disinformation and conspiracy theories. But no, I don't think there's going to be any legal consequences from that, guys.
All right. Ken, thanks as always.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.